Hello guys, here it's Emmanuel from DiceTuga, and today I'm making a top 10 video. Yes, finally top 10 videos are back! And today it's a top 10 video about games that I consider that one day might be in my top 20 games of all time list. So without further ado, let's just jump right in. Before we jump into the list, I would like to explain why and how am I doing this list. The why is just because I'm curious to see how I evolve with those games. So I'm curious to see if next year any of those games were played. I hopefully play them all. And if they indeed belong to my top 10 or top 20 list of games of all time. And the how is most of these games I own. There is one or two I think that are about to come on Kickstarter and that I know I'm very excited about them, and that's actually a good idea for another video, which is my most excited Kickstarter games that I'm expecting. So that might come in. I will also be doing another top 20 video, and it will be a top 20 video of my favorite games of all time. So stay tuned. Because it's full of top 10 lists right now. Also, during the video you'll see me looking down often to my phone, because I have all the games in here on Board Game Geek, because I don't want to destroy any designer name or any publisher name. So I will be looking at it just for the sake of trying to pronounce it correctly. Also, I'm a human and I don't remember all the names of all the designers. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. I'm getting old, I'm tired, and memorizing the name of the games, it's good enough. Plus the name of my girlfriend and my 2 children. So this is why I'll be looking down more than once. So let's just jump in and start with number 10. My number 10 is a game that, well, it's a game that I own. It's right there underneath a dozen of other games. Why? Because it's a huge box and it's a game that I didn't play yet. I'll be receiving its youngest brother in the beginning of next year probably, because I pre-ordered it at the time. And the box is even bigger than the base game, which is Gloomhaven. Yeah, I got Gloomhaven. I don't know what I'm going to play because it takes so much space in the table. I still didn't finish Jaws of the Lion, and yes, I'm getting Frosthaven. You might ask, why are you getting Frosthaven if you didn't finish Gloomhaven? Well, or even didn't start Gloomhaven. Well, at the time I got Frosthaven. I pre-ordered Frosthaven when I was starting in the hobby, and I was like, innocent person that I was, I'll pre-order Frosthaven by 2023, it will be there, and by that time I probably played Gloomhaven 2 times or 3 times. Yes, I was that innocent. I didn't play Gloomhaven once. I played Jaws of the Lion. I still need to finish Jaws of the Lion, and I find that Jaws of the Lion is an excellent game simply because of the book. The setup time is super fast. If you use Gloomhaven Helper app, it reduces even more the components that you need on the table, so it's great. And it will also reduce the components that you need on the table for Gloomhaven, but it's just that Gloomhaven takes way more space with all the tiles and so on that you need, and it's kind of game that I don't want to be setuping and taking it out every single time that I want to play it. So it's a game that I want to set up, leave it on the table for a couple of weeks and really dive into it. So this is the number 1 on BGG top 100 list. The designer is Isaac Childress, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, and the publisher is Cephalofair Games. It's a 1 to 4 players, and it's kind of a dungeon crawler. What I love about I know that Gloomhaven will follow the same mechanics, is the card system. It's really neat, I really like. You have 2 cards, you need to choose the top action, the bottom action, and play it. And with the initiative, your strategy might work, or your strategy might be a miss because you're planning to do something against an enemy that is at a certain position, but the initiative of the enemy is higher than yours, so they go first and they might move, and then you are not able to, you need to be creative with the 2 cards that you chose to do something else that might bring you more, a better outcome. So that's what I like about Gloomhaven in general, and I know that I love Jaws of the Lion. I'll probably enjoy Gloomhaven, the original one. So that's it, my number 10, Gloomhaven. Number 9. Number 9 is a game that I got recently because it was out of stock for a while, or very expensive. But I think now with the latest Kickstarter that they did, and another version of the game that is a more streamed down version, I think, I was able to get it. So in this game you control a spirit, so just by this word most of you already know it, which game I'm talking about, and you control a spirit defending your island from colonizing invaders, yeah, maybe that. And so yeah, it's a area majority control game. You have some cars. Well, I don't know a lot about the game. I just know that the art looks really nice, certainly the one in the cover. And yeah, you guys already know it's Spirit Island. Yeah, so there it is. Look at this box. Isn't this pretty? This is a game from 1 to 4 players. It's from Greater Than Games, and the designer is Eric Russ, something like that, I think. Hopefully I'm not pronouncing it incorrectly. And that's it. I do not know a lot more about Spirit Island. It will either go to my top 20 or it will be a big disappointment. It's most well known for being a great solo, so that's what I'm expecting. Not really expecting about playing this one co-op. It's mainly for solo gaming. So that's it, my number 9, Spirit Island. My number 8 is a game that happens in space. You already know? No, not yet? It's a game that I was kind of influenced by one space TV series, and also recommended by one of my friends. You play as a bounty hunter, and the TV series that kind of influenced me was The Mandalorian. You got it, it's Star Wars Outer Rim. There it is. By the way, I hate this box. I mean, I don't hate the cover, it's pretty kind of self-explanatory. You are a bounty hunter in the Outer Rim, you need to, well, get bounties, you can upgrade your ship and so on. But just the organization, it's always like with this kind of fantasy flight games. Like, this doesn't fit. This doesn't fit. I cannot close my box properly. But still, I have high hopes for Star Wars Outer Rim. It's Star Wars, man. And Star Wars Rebellion will not be on this list because, for the only reason that I'm going to contrary myself in the video, because you'll see later why. But it's just not there because I think this one will be more accessible and will see more time on the table than Star Wars Rebellion. So that's it, my number 8, Star Wars Outer Rim. My next game is a game that I played it once, solo, and it's a game about construction. You are constructing or renovating the city of... I'm going to reveal myself. The city of Praga. I mean, this is Praga Caput Regni. Again, another one that I hate the organization inside because everything is falling aside. But look at this cover. I mean, I see this cover, I'm like, I'm taking you home. It's just like, so pretty. So, this is a 1 to 4 player game. It's published by Delicious Game. It's designed by Vladimir Suki. Not sure how to pronounce it properly. And it's a game about construction. It's a game that you can have a lot of combos, and I love combos. And certainly I love that crane. That crane on top with the actions, it's just like, love it. Certainly with solo, makes the solo so simple. And you know, a solo without flowcharts for me, it's a sell. I hate flowcharts. I cannot stand a solo that I need to check if this, then else, or otherwise this. No. It's to be simple, similar to Ark Nova. You move one cube to the side and that's it. It's the same thing with Praga. and the only reason I'm considering it for this video is because I played it once. I cannot consider games that I played only once in my top 20 games of all time. I had a very good experience, but still I need to dig into it a little bit more just to really understand the full potential of it. One thing I can tell you is don't try to do everything. You will not be able to do. So focus on 2 or 3 different things. Try to maximize your points on that, and that's how you should play it. Because if you try to go for everything, you'll get to the end of the game and you're like, I was not able to do anything, and that can cause some frustration. But it seemed to me a very solid game. Can seem a lot of things. There's a lot of things going on, and that can be scary. But as soon as you start grasping things here and there, it will become natural and fluid. So don't worry about that. Give it a shot. You will enjoy it. So that's my number 7, Praga Caput Regni. Number 6. Number 6 is a game about my favorite theme of all time, which is Lord of the Rings. This is a 2-player game only. I own that game. It's still with the plastic on, full of dust. And yeah, I just didn't play it yet because first, I'm scared. Second, it's a 2-player game, and it's very difficult for me to have at home. Certainly at home, I will not play this game with my girlfriend. She would not understand it, and it could ruin our relationship. So I'm avoiding that. But yeah, this is War of the Ring, of course. Look at this cover. How pretty is this? And yes, I got the expansions, obviously. I got the expansions for a game that it will be very hard for me to play. Yes, I got it. So what? I do whatever I want. So I have War of the Ring, and I have the expansions. I even have the expansions of Erebor, which allows you to continue from the Battle of 5 Armies board game to the War of the Ring. Do I own the Battle of 5 Armies? No, I don't. Will I? Probably. I mean, yeah, I'm a sucker for Lord of the Rings. Basically, War of the Ring is a game where you kind of simulate the trilogy, the Fellowship of the Ring, the Two Towers, and Return of the King. One player will control let's call it the bad guys. The other player will control the Fellowship. And that's it. So it's a game that can take some time, can go until 2 hours, maybe even more, 3 hours of play. The first time might take even more because yeah, it's new, so the cards and so on, you will have to know them in order to play it faster. So the first game will probably take something like 5 hours with the teaching included, but it's a 2 to 4 player game. But most of the times it's played at 2 players. There's no solo variant. I could play it simulating the 2, but yeah, it's not as fun, and I cannot really review a game like that. And it's published by Ars Game. They are going to publish to do another one that actually I should be getting it. Didn't get it yet. It was supposed to arrive in November, I think, which is War of the Ring, the card game. So, which is a smaller version, I think, of War of the Ring. So yeah, I'm very excited. Every time I look at this game, I'm like, I need to play it. And this one, I'm almost 100% sure that as soon as I play it, it will go for my top 10 list of games of all time. I just love Lord of the Rings a lot. And it helps a lot for a game to be from Lord of the Rings, because just the fact that that is the theme makes me liking it a lot. So like that, you know that I'm a sucker for Lord of the Rings. The designer, they have some 3 designers here on the page in BGG. So you have Roberto Di Meglio, Marco Maggi, and Francesco Nepitello. So that's my number 6, War of the Ring. My number 5 is a game that there is 2 versions of it. Again, just by saying this, already people know it. In your head, you're like, I know it, it's this one. And one version is more cutthroat, and the other one is less cutthroat. Now you figured it out. I know, now you realize which one I'm talking about. It's a game where you are building and exploiting the market and building industries and creating and building networks so that you can move your resources around. I played the first era of the game, didn't play the second one, didn't have time. I was actually learning the game. I was doing a simulation of 2 players. So again, cannot really review this game yet. I need to play it with other players. But from what I played, I really enjoyed it. And what got my attention was that the rules are so simple. They are not complicated. Like, it's easy to understand the game and how it plays. But then it's very challenging to know, okay, should I go for this? Should I go for that? And that's awesome. I love when games are like this, simple but challenging. And I think that's what a game should be. This is a game, well, you know what it is. I'm going to show you. Come on. This is Brass Birmingham. Yeah, I mean, what to say? I mean, everybody knows Brass Birmingham, Brass Lancashire. I want to try Brass Lancashire because I kind of like a bit of cutthroat. I just don't like when it happens to me, but if it happens to others. So Brass Birmingham, designed by Martin Wallace. Also I have here other designers, Gavin Brown and Matt Tolman. And this is by Roxley. Unfortunately, my copy, and I already complained to Roxley, and they don't seem to care about it. They say for me to print a new one, or if they send a new one, I have to pay for the imports, which I don't agree. But my rulebook is completely messed up. You see, page 1, and it continues like that. So I cannot use this rulebook. It's a new rulebook, but it completely messed up. They probably had an intern assembling the rulebooks, and it came like this. And the box just farted. It is really treating me well, this box. But that's the only downside. So I strongly believe that this one will be one that will be in my top 20 lists of games of all time, because I really enjoy the simplicity but challenging particularity of it. So that's it. My number 5, Brass Birmingham. Number 4. Okay, I'm cheating a little bit on this one and on my number 2 as well, because my number 4 is a Kickstarter, and it's a Kickstarter that should be arriving beginning next year, which is one that I'm very, very excited. But I have to mention it because yeah, every single week I'm checking for the evolution of it to see if there is a new update. This is a board game related to one of my favorite games, video games of all time, which is The Witcher 3. Yes, the number 4 is The Witcher: The Old World. I have high expectations on this game. I went all in. It is my first Kickstarter where I went all in. I didn't care, I just went for everything. And yeah, I have high hopes, but when you have high expectations, you also might have high disappointments. So this one might be a shot in the dark, and let's say I cannot talk a lot about the mechanics because yeah, I saw some playthroughs, but yeah, I need to physically play it to understand and to be able to explain it to you. But it's a game that looks gorgeous. The cards look beautiful. It's with the art of the video game, so that's great. I love the TV series. I mean, the first season. Now that Henry Cavill is going to be out for season 3 and replaced, actually, yeah, less motivated to watch the season 2. I read 2 of the books, also very interesting. So yeah, I can say that I am a fan of The Witcher. And so yeah, this is published by Go On Board, and the designer is Łukasz Wozniak. I think I pronounced Łukasz properly. That's it. That's my number 4, The Witcher: The Old World. Number 3. I almost want to bet that this will be one day my favorite game of all time. I am disappointed in myself that I was still not able to jump in, because this game I will need to really leave it on the table, to dive in for like 3 or 4 playing sessions to really understand the full potential and the mechanics of this game. It's a game that I really want to go and learn it from top to bottom. And it's Mage Knight. Yeah, so a huge box, Ultimate Edition. Look how pretty this is. I mean, and not only that, but unfortunately I have a hole here that happened when my ceiling fell. I was doing some content of Mage Knight and kind of got destroyed. But yeah, the rest is safe. And look at this inserts. I mean, this just gives me like this warms my heart. Look at the way that cards are all sleeved and the way that they fit in. When you have a good insert, it just makes life prettier, right? And the Mage Knight is a game that I played once, but I was learning it, of course, so it doesn't really, for me, doesn't really count as playing because I was learning it, and so it took me ages. I want to be able to play it without really using the rulebook, only for certain references, and I really enjoyed my first sessions, but not enough yet, or I didn't understand enough yet of the game to consider it to be one of my top 10 games of all time. But I can tell you that he is very promising, and it will probably be in my top 10, if not the first. It will be on my top 10 list of all time, because I love the art, I love the tiles, the revealing of the tiles, I love this growing map. It just takes too much time to set up. I'm not going to learn it from the rulebook. I'm going to watch a series of videos on YouTube. And yeah, what to say more? This is published by WizKids and the designer, a very well-known designer, Vlada Shvatil. Now I said it correctly, but usually I say Vlada Shvatil. Shvatil. Why Shvatil? It's Vlada Shvatil. Anyway, Mage Knight number 3. Number 2, similar to The Witcher, I'm cheating also a little bit on this one because it's currently not a game yet, it's a Kickstarter, but the game that I'm going to talk about was already released. So I'm getting it now with the Kickstarter, but the original game already came out some years ago. So this is a game that when I started the hobby last year, I was not able to get it, and I was very disappointed because as soon as I start watching the playthroughs and stuff, avoiding spoilers, it was one of the games that I wanted to have. And now they had another campaign recently where they have a new game from the same world, and it's Tainted Grail, Fall of Avalon. With the game fond of Kings of Ruin, I took the advantage of it to go for Fall of Avalon as well. I didn't go all in, that's crazy. I mean, there's too much miniatures, and I know that miniatures are super pretty and everything, but I already have enough miniatures. And to be honest with you, if I have to take every single time a freaking miniature from the insert and to put it on the table, for it to be there for 2 minutes and need to put it back and take another one, that just takes me out of the game, and I don't like it. For example, Nemesis is I take all the miniatures out for them to be ready for me to put it on the board. But have you seen how much miniatures Tainted Grail has? If I put all of those in the table, I will never clean up, I will never tidy up that game. Like, it would just stay there. So no, I just got the Kings of Avalon and the Kings of Ruin and Fall of Avalon with miniatures, but not all the extra miniatures. I know that also some people complained about Fall of Avalon, saying that it's grindy. I know that they said in the first campaign that they were tackling that issue, and that in the end they didn't really tackle that issue because people still complain about it. They say now that there is a Fall of Avalon 2.0 where they really tackled that issue. So I'm betting on that. Otherwise, yeah, I think Tainted Grail is always easy sell. Any of these games that I just talked are easy sales, and I can always sell it and get my money back. So that's my number 2, Tainted Grail. I'm very excited about it. This is published by Awakened Realms, and the designer. The designers are Krzysztof Piskorski and Marcin, I think, because the C is not read as C, so I would risk Marcin Schwerkot. I'm sorry, man, if I pronounce your name. Just tell me in the comments if I told it wrong, and I apologize. But those are the designers. I'm not going to repeat it. I hope you catch it the first time. That designed this great game. And so that's it. My number 3, Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon. And my number 1 is kind of a sad story. For those who follow me, they know about it. It's a game that I was waiting for a year already. I pre-ordered it, and the publisher was not even sure that they would be able to continue doing it. But in the end, they were able to produce more copies, and I was able to pre-order one. I received it. I did the unboxing video of it, and we had an accident at home, and that game was destroyed or heavily damaged. I was able to recover it, part of it. Of course, there is a lot of components that are damaged. The box is completely destroyed, so I don't have it. And it's a game that I want to play, and it's right there in front of me, and I want to play it. But every time I pick it up to play it, I kind of remember of the things that happened, and so I'm having some trouble to really pick it up. Because yeah, the components are damaged and the tiles are damaged, and it kind of brings me back those memories that I don't want to have. But hopefully one day I will be able to disconnect from that and play this amazing game that is Dwellings of Eldervale. Dwellings of Eldervale, it's a 1 to 5 player game. It's designed by Luke Laurie and published by Breaking Games. It's a kind of a worker placement set in an epic fantasy world, and that's what made it interesting to me, because it kind of have some Euro style mechanics, but also have this fantasy link to it. So I find it, that's what made me interested in it. But then you have other mechanics like hand management. You have dices. Oh, the inserts, oh my god, the inserts are so great. It's from Game Trays, and it's just great. The components by themselves are beautiful. The rule book, yeah, I'm saying the rule book looks like great. But the inserts, like the components, I have some of them here, like but yeah, again, damaged, but you can see, like, you see it's still full of dust, but they all fit in here, all tidy and easy to get. But yeah, it looks an amazing game, and I will be able to dive into it, even though it's damaged, but I'm hoping to be able to dive into it, to really enjoy. And I strongly believe, as the same for Dwellings as it is for Mage Knight, I strongly believe that these two will be for sure in my top 10 list of games of all time. So that was it. This is my number 1, Dwellings of Eldervale. And that's it, guys. This is my top 10 video of games that I think will be one day on my top 20 list of games of all time. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got some ideas for games that you want to play. Some of them you might have played already, so let me know your comments below and your opinions about it. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I post daily content on both of those platforms, and I'm also now on Facebook. So that's it, guys. See you next time, and stay tuned because more top 10 videos will come. See ya!